Welcome to Podcast for Fun. This is the show where we dive into the passion, the process, and the journeys of creative storytellers as they bring their stories to life. I am your host, Sophia, and today we are joined by a talented filmmaker, Josh Mercado. Thank you so much for being here, Josh.
No problem.
So, let's start out with you telling us a little bit about yourself and your work.
I'm known as a YouTuber, and more so as I don't know, more so as like a film director in Vancouver, BC. It started out just making just these silly little videos with my friends, but now I started going to film schools just starting in September last year. This is a 1-year program, and so I'm just focusing on refining my my abilities, and I'm finding that sorry, hold on.
No, take your time.
And I'm finding that my work is starting to be a bit more professional.
So, do you have any goals you're working towards? Is that why you're in film school?
Well, I want to. I feel like everybody wants to go into like the big league, right?
Yeah.
So I want to start making. I want to go and make feature films, blockbusters. But I feel like you have to go through a certain amount of steps to do that.
Yeah. What kind of blockbusters do you like?
Okay, wait. That's a very.
If you had to, not okay, top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Like genres?
Yes.
Okay, I have these 3, but they're favorites for different reasons. The one that's at the top, and I think this is like for a lot of people too, it's the coming of age. Because that's where a lot of meaning and lessons are usually brought, especially for for teens and those who typically watch movies the most. But for me, growing up, coming of age stories have always struck me hard, and so I've wanted to make those for myself and for others as well. But something else is horror. Maybe not so much of what I'd specialize in, but it's something that I could admire, because it's the amount of technicalities and I guess work that goes into just thinking of the ideas and the detail in gore or supernatural aspects.
Yeah.
The third one, oh no. I want to say action, but I'm not sure if I can actually specialize in that. Even with stunts, I would love to try and do that. But I feel like my style would actually would more align with either drama or romance or something along the line, more for sensitive topics.
Yeah. It's funny. I suck at romance. I literally, when I watch rom-coms, I cringe. I can't watch it. It just.
Well, that's the thing. I don't typically like to watch romance either, but I don't know. I feel like I can actually get that across decently well, more so than action.
I watched your short film, the one that got what was it, 1.7 million views or something?
Oh, that wasn't even a short film. That was just a skit. Oh,
that was
no.
funny though.
Yeah, that was for a lot of those skits, it's actually my brother's ideas that actually helped me with those ones. And so he had this one idea for, because he's very I don't know how to say it in a nice way. He's very insensitive sometimes.
What do you mean by that, bro?
As in he can be pretty harsh without knowing it. And so it was just when he started thinking of the idea of who identifies as a woman, he started thinking of the romance line, do you see me as a friend or as a woman? Taking the idea, was like, oh wait, we could take that in a different way and make it seem like the guy doesn't know what to say because he'll be canceled no matter what. And it's like, I accepted the idea, thinking it's like, I could play with like a romance sort of skit, and I personally don't align with that. I guess what's it called? that ideology, but I can use that and push it with the vibes of relationship struggle, and that's what that video is. It's combining relationship struggle with the definition of a woman.
You know what that reminded me of? Like, your videos kind of reminded me of old Ryan Higa and Smosh.
Well, those guys, they used to be I used to watch them every single day.
Right.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Hey guys, Ryan here. Today we're at Will by. I'm kidding.
No, when I started, I even used to. Oh my god, it was so. I deleted all of those off my channel, but I used to start every single video like his. It was like. I didn't say hey guys. I just said hey, because I.
What were you even making with that?
It was like an introduction to like a little film. You know how he would always like end his videos with like this little like skips. I tried doing that, except it was only just one skit. Yeah, it would just be like when I started making YouTube videos. I think the first official one on the news channel, Jay Mori. It was making this anime into sort of reality, and I started with the video doing the little hey, and the funniest thing was that whole introduction part was like a third of the video. Oh wait, no.
What?
This was before that one. This is like my first like original story.
Yeah.
I had like a third of the video just like talking about like the concept of it was something like that had to do with like volleyball, because I was really into volleyball at that time. And then the actual skit part, or like the trailer, I think it was like 15 seconds.
That's so funny.
But I don't know what age I think I was like grade 8, 9 at that point.
So you're telling me you have like 10 years of experience, you know, on YouTube?
Well, depends on what you consider like the starting point, right? Because there's a point where you're just screwing around and just like, you know, like majority of the videos on like previous channels were just me eating with my friend. Because
okay, if you're like making skits, I take that as a starting point.
In that case, I think professionally, I would only say I would only have 1 to 2 years of experience. But starting YouTube, that was all the way back in grade 6.
How many years is that?
That's
6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 8, 7. 7 years. No.
I think. Wait. I was about 12, so that's
7 years.
Don't test me on math. Wait, hold on. Cut this out. Okay, wait. I'm turning 20. So that's.
Is that not
2,
7
3,
years?
4, 5,
Bro, it's
6,
7
7,
years. What's
8.
9 minus 2?
7.
Yeah. 7 years.
Wait, but I'm turning 20 though.
I'm also turning 20.
Right. No. Yeah. It's 7 years. Cut that out. I'm kidding.
Cut that out, Kyle. You know, I watch other podcasts and like people go off rails so hard. It's kind of entertaining. Like the podcast for my thing says film, right?
Yeah.
But then remember I talked about bodybuilding with someone. I'm like, wait, what podcast am I making again? Why are we talking about bodybuilding and going to a gym and parenting people? I don't even have kids.
Well, I mean, that's just how conversations go, though. You're going to be, like, talking about, like, your favorite color, and then you're going to talk about politics in, like, the next few seconds.
No, but it's so dangerous. Every time someone tries to get in politics, I'm like, Can we sway the conversation right now? I don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, no. That's why I even just try to just stray away. It's like, yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever done other podcasts before?
No, this is my first one.
Whoa.
I don't know what I'm doing.
How
so
are you
I'm very
feeling?
scared.
How are you feeling right now?
I mean, I'm excited, but also, you know, like online is like one of the scariest places to be, because you're gonna be, you could say one thing and people are gonna misinterpret it like immediately. It's like you could say something as simple as, I think the sky is blue. Someone's just gonna, no, it's red.
It's red. What are you talking about in the middle of the night or whatever? You know?
But I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, for them, the sky could be red, right?
Yeah.
But you can't really deny it. But if you do, people are gonna attack you.
You know what? I just learned to understand that I can't control how people interpret everything I say to an extent. To an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, you can control the words that come out of your mouth. You just can't control how it goes into other people's heads. So I just say whatever I want, and hopefully it's not bad.
Well, that's how you get the most, I guess, that's how you get the most expression out of yourself. I mean, people like expression, right?
Let go of the risk or whatever. Have you ever written a feature-length film before? Like a script?
No, not an hour-length one. Not just yet.
Not yet?
I want to, though.
What's the longest thing you've written?
I think it's, it was like this Halloween, it was this Halloween video. It's online. It's called Mask. I don't like the name. I should have named it something else. But it's this horror film where one person in your friend group starts acting differently to the point where it's like inhumane, and so this like group of friends try to figure out what's going on as every single one of them starts disappearing from this person. But it's sort of like a comedy too, because it's like it should be pretty obvious that there's a difference. But I think that one was about 13 minutes long. Yeah, so that's the longest one so far.
You know, that reminds you of people who go like, oh, I don't, like, no one wants to be friends with me. And then you befriend them and you find out, oh, I know why no one wants to be friends with you. You know, I said Smokey earlier. It's because there's a movie called, I think, Green Mask or something. With Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And his line's like, Smokey! So, that's the first thing that came into my mind when when you said that mask thing.
It was like, there was like this whole thing where like the actual person that has the change is like trapped within his own head. That's why it was called Mask in the beginning. But I should have called it Static, because I mean the whole point is that like there's nothing there, but it's just moving on its own. So and that was like the sort of horror behind it.
Sounds cool.
It's not.
Sounds emo. Did you end up filming it?
Yeah. No, it's online. It's on the channel. It's I think it's the first video. I did like a whole like not a clean slate of the channel, but I organized it a bit just earlier this week.
My channel's so unorganized.
That's okay.
I just do like whatever and hope for the best. I'd rather try and like fail than like. I use the word like way too many times.
That's okay.
I'd rather try and fail than not try and never try to succeed or something, you know?
Yeah. No, there's like there's no harm in. You'd rather do more than less, right? Yeah.
What's your like dream vision for your life? Every aspect.
Every single aspect? Hold on, I gotta think about it.
I'm sorry, it's such a random ass question I just asked.
Wait, let's break it down. Which part first?
Okay, first, career. And you have to be very specific. Like, what kind of position? I know you said film director, but there's some directors who don't write, you know, they direct other people's scripts. I don't want to be that kind of director. So.
No, I want to be, I guess it would be more of a, cause like it's a director / producer sort of thing. That's the stuff where they write and fund and create all of their own projects. I mean, I guess in the film industry, that's one of the highest roles that you can get. I would be fine with being a cinematographer because I've always liked putting meaning into the shots. That's like one of the that was my original idea. But I realized I like working with people. I mean, I know it's difficult for me because I'm not used to that, but I really do like working with people and, you know, making them understand the character. Yeah, I feel like that's during like an audition process, it felt so weird how we just have someone else reading the opposite lines if there's like a conversation, where for the director they just watch it like an audience member is like, this doesn't make sense to me. So during auditions, I'm the type that's like, yo, pass me the script, I want to speak the lines. And I would actually, you know, I would converse with the actor because I want to understand them. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. It's like, you're just watching. It's like, yeah, that's good. It's like, no, that doesn't feel real to me,
Yeah.
right? And so I want my stuff to feel real.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you become like a super judgy director and get like choked like James Cameron?
No, because I don't want to. If you notice a lot of recurring things in my films, a lot of the actors, they're not actually acting too differently than they would. I prioritize finding people that are like the characters.
Yeah.
So they don't need to. You shouldn't need to. I mean, obviously there are cases where you should, but for me, I prioritize you being yourself because I feel like that's the most personality that you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, like, I mean, yeah, everybody loves their accents and their forced mannerisms.
Yeah.
But we're going to know that that's not them.
Mm.
No matter how good they might be, the rawness of it is just themselves.
Mm.
So if a director can get that, and because you're just meeting you're meeting them for the first time.
Yeah.
And if you're able to get that rawness from them straight away, I'd say that's what makes you a good director.
So whenever you cast someone, you're like, who's like what kind of character? Like who would have a dilemma about woman or friend? Maybe me, and then you cast yours. Okay.
No, that one is because okay, a lot of my friends don't like being in front of cameras, sadly.
Really?
Yeah, if I had the decision, I'd actually be back then I would probably be behind the camera the most. And that's typically how it was, but within all of my other videos, the camera's just set up.
Mm.
Like there's nobody like manning it. Like there's no tracking shots. There's no panning. It's just completely still because there's nobody behind the camera. So I would typically just take the lead role, just especially for those that might not want to take. My brother called it spicy content, where it's like, don't wait, no, that sounds bad. Where it's like, it might be offensive to some others, but not to, like, it's like selective.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, I don't mind taking the blame if anything goes bad. I'm like because I'm like the face of the channel when it comes to that. So
yeah,
sure, why not? I don't mind.
I wonder what kind of director I'd be. So is your casting process is just thinking who would fit the characters, right? The personalities.
Yeah. I have their characters in mind, not so much their appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ever do any casting, like there's this like race option. I just like I don't need to specify. It doesn't really matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless if they can drive something, if say like a different race might have different difficulties within their upbringing, there's like, I mean, that'll show itself in the audition.
Yeah.
So I there's no need to specify that, even their height, the only thing comes to the age, like that's the only thing that actually.
You're like, oh, we need a youngster.
Yeah. I mean, if he could play really young, right?
You would never know he's 65, guys. Like you never know.
No, I mean, like like in Spider-Man, or Karate Kid, like they're
they're like 20.
Yeah, they're like 20. They're middle aged. They're like, but they play it really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I consider those guys really good directors because they know what they're looking for.
I never liked the Karate Kid, not the movie. I didn't like the main character.
Oh. Well, the just Ralph Macchio.
Yeah. Cause he always
was he a bit cocky?
He hit first, bro. Every single fight. And I was like, you know what? If I was Johnny Lawrence, I would also punch someone who just punched me. I wouldn't be like, I'm done. Like that guy asked for it. He literally beat you up. So. Yeah.
Well, I guess his storyline was sort of, I guess, reworking his thinking. So, I'm not sure if we were meant to like him immediately. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I feel like maybe not.
Maybe not.
You know what's funny? Have you ever watched The Breakfast Club before?
Yeah.
So I was like talking to someone earlier, and he was saying that the cool guy, the kind of the rebel boy.
Yeah.
he was saying, oh, he doesn't like that he's like being glorified in the movie, and I was like, I don't think he's being glorified. I think the whole point is that we're not supposed to like him.
We're not supposed to like him. We're supposed to be able to sympathize with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know how he's like bringing everyone else down.
Yeah.
So he was saying like, oh, like the guy was saying that, that's bad because it's like pushing down, like things that should be normalized or whatever. Like, oh, you shouldn't mock someone for, you know, spending time with their family or listening to their mom, because that's what the guy was doing. Like, oh, what a nerd, you know, listening to your mom. But I was thinking when he was saying that, that's not the case. I think it's that the rebel is jealous, and he's just projecting himself.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he probably doesn't have a family that cares for him or something along those lines. And we're supposed to sympathize with that feeling, because I think a lot of us has gone through, you know, phases where you kind of mock people for something you actually want to do or something you actually desire. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever watched Glee before?
A lot of seasons, actually. I don't think I finished it, but I remember I binged it a lot sometime in high school.
Do you remember the scene where the closeted gay guy is always bullying Kurt?
Is that the bully?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he like kisses him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. So he's like projecting because he's actually gay, but he just didn't want to. Yeah. And he didn't like that someone else was openly gay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what I mean. Where it's like a lot of people project themselves, and then that's what the movie was trying to represent. Yeah. And I think the guy that I spoke to earlier took it a little bit in a different way, you know. But I think that's just like it's all perspective, right? But I like movies where you can just like talk about it for hours after.
I didn't know that that people glorified the bully though.
I didn't know either.
I mean, for my favorite character, it actually had to be that little the scrawny white nerdy kid.
The blonde guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, or the jock. He was pretty cool too.
He was cool. He was eating a lot.
No, but when the nerdy kid had his breakdown, I was like,
bro, I bet that budget for the movie is so low though. It was in one room.
Low budget stuff is good though.
Yeah. You know, I feel like when you're like constrained, you can expand your creativity more. It forces you to be creative.
Oh, this is a controversial opinion, because I've told some people this, they're unhappy with this opinion. I used to say that I hate VFX in like the CGI VFX, because I feel like it's, I don't want to say that it's cheating, but it's like what I said before. I prioritize like authenticity and realness, and so when I see that, you know, if like bodies and facial expressions or you know, just simple stuff that you can make as practical effects as CGI, I feel that it takes away from the film a lot. So when or if I become a director, I want to prioritize practical effects too, because I just love that.
It's gonna be so expensive, man.
Especially if there's actors in the shots with those practical effects. Like, there's a difference between an actor going to like a CGI explosion, towards, you know, like an actual like pop. Like, even when we start filming, if there's like a party popper or a gunshot, I'll make sure to just do like so that they can, like that, you can like react to something. Because I mean, I'm sure that they do that for VFX as well, but if you could actually see like something light up in front of you, because it's way harder to act as if this teapot just exploded, right? So that's one thing that might be controversial.
I don't think it's controversial.
Because I mean, a lot of people who specialize in VFX and CGI was like, oh, you just dissed my entire career.
But that's what people didn't like about the Flash movie.
Oh, the Flash. Sorry, that just reminded me of the CW show.
The CW show? What is that?
The Grant Gustin?
What is it?
Whoa,
Explain it to
oh,
me.
what? You don't know the... Like the... Okay, wait. You only know the movie Flash?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Wait,
Oh, are you talking about the Netflix show?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch that one on cable when I was way younger. When it first came out, actually.
Cable? You sound old.
Cable? Well, when I still had cable.
How old are you again?
But, because me and my friends, we used to watch that sort of almost every Tuesday. It was every Tuesday night. And I love that one because the original directors did exactly what they casted like a great actor who can, really, they casted him for his running, which was funny enough. The way that he could run, I guess, or I guess exert himself without actually moving.
Uh-huh.
Like that was very like interesting to them. As well as, even though he wasn't like comically accurate with like blonde hair, he still had the characteristics, which is what they prioritize, which is perfect.
Yeah.
And so, especially in the cinematography, if the Flash were to ever move, the camera would shake with it. It felt like you were in the world.
Uh-huh.
And so it felt supernatural. It felt like you were actually watching someone like run at the speed of sound, because it would bend your reality, which was amazing. And then like 3 seasons later, it's just floating in the air and just it doesn't feel fast anymore. It's just you're just following a person running at this point, just filtered with CGI.
Why are like 90% of shows this first season is the best, and then the rest just dies down?
Because realistically, a show doesn't need that many seasons. That's why like my favorite stuff are, I mean, typically when it comes to all like all types of media, my favorite types are the series that have like 12 episodes or at most 2 to 3 seasons. Because those, like, that's all you really need. You don't need, if you find that there's series that have like 8 or more seasons, you're gonna find a lot of what we call filler, right?
Yeah, every anime ever, guys.
And some people like filler. I don't.
I don't like filler.
Do you don't like filler?
No. I don't like it when I see like Bulma being like, oh my god, guys, Goku's dying right now. I'm like, why do you have to say that? Just go back to the fight.
Or in One Piece, which is it's still good anime, but like a lot of the episodes it's just walking. It's just the entire like 5 episodes is just that.
The most famous thing was like, this world is gonna this planet's gonna explode in 5 minutes. 8 episodes later. Yeah. Bro, that was like what? 4 hours? That was not 5 minutes.
Oh, well, okay, wait. For Dragon Ball, it does it differently. Like, Goku will be like screaming for like 8 episodes straight. Like, that was so funny to me before. I would like have this entire like A plot, and then the B plot, it just cuts to him screaming, and then back to A plot.
Yeah, and then there's like a scene. Did you watch all of Dragon Ball Z?
Z? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, remember when Majin Buu, like, Vegeta had to beat him up?
And
he was waiting for Goku to, like, get his power ball or something?
Yeah.
Bro, that took forever.
Let me your power.
And then Vegeta's like, are you done yet? That's so funny. And then every episode, I'm like, oh my god, we're almost there, guys. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. And they never freaking get it. You know, I feel like movies these days, a lot of them are based off of stuff that already exists. There's no, like, direct script to film.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's sort of just what happens when it comes to, like, art in general. Like, that's the reason why, like, the Renaissance artists were so popular, because, I mean, now, a lot of people can probably, I mean, they're still very rare to find now, but, like, they're, like, you know, like, for artists like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, like, I came,
DiCaprio. So.
Yeah. I came to a conclusion that there's 2 forms of great. There's There's great, and then there's revolutionary. Like Jaws. Jaws today. Jaws
is great.
Jaws is like, as of today, if you were to compare it with other movies, it's like it might be even lesser than the common today. But for its time, it started using animatronics and the dolly zoom, which had this surreal effect to it. And since it's the first one that made that, that's what makes it great, because it's revolutionary. That's what makes Renaissance artists great, because they're revolutionary. They're the first to do it. That's why when it comes to art, the more people invent stuff, the chance of you inventing something just marginalizes.
I think then, do you think Avatar, not the bald man, not the bald boy, the James Cameron one with the blue people.
You know me with CGI, but yeah,
Isn't that revolutionary?
That's a revolutionary one,
right?
because the use of, the amount of CGI that was used to just create the world
but
there.
It looked really good.
It did look really good, but would you consider that one more live action or animation at that point?
I consider it an animation, to be honest, 3D animation, because it's the recording place is literally just green screens and polka dots on famous actors. Mm-hmm. But then the movie is like a whole fantasy world. Yeah. So clearly, that's mostly animation. Like, I feel like live action is when you bring something to life, and that's not really bringing it to life. That's like bringing it to the screen. Mm-hmm. But then you can say 90% of Disney live actions also were just an animation. Yeah. Like The Lion King, which sucked, personally. Yeah.
CGI should be used if it's meant to create something unnatural or impossible.
So that's Avatar.
Yeah. Or like in Harry Potter, yeah, you could probably use practical effects for that one too. Uh-huh. But you won't be able to get the grandiose effect of magic without it. So if you could use it to augment it, just very lightly. You don't need too much. Yeah. Like, especially like what I said for like low budget stuff, you don't need too much to make a great film. You just need the right angles, the right people, the right idea.
When I was younger, I used to have like the biggest, fattest crush on Harry Potter. I was like 10. I was like, oh my god, my little Scar boy. Yeah.
That Scar is so hot.
Yeah, look at him go. and then after that, everybody who looked like Harry Potter had a crush, and I was like, oh my god, Harry Potter. Like, I see it, guys. A blonde man with glasses on.
Blonde?
Yeah.
Is he blonde? He's not.
Brunette. Whatever. Close enough. Anyways, speaking of celebrity crushes. This is no relate to it, but okay. What do you feel? How do you feel about actors being typecasted?
Elaborate. Wait, because
okay, for example, Megan Fox always plays like the hot girl. Like, have you ever watched Jennifer's Body?
No, I haven't.
It's a movie about literally like a female vampire, basically. And she lures people in and eats them. That's the movie, kind of. And Jennifer is played by Megan Fox. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like her peak. Not peak, but like she's like literally the embodiment of like a hot girl. Like a siren, you know? Yeah. She's like, your girlfriend's cheating on you, come over here. Ah! That's basically like the movie.
There's good typecasts and there's bad typecasts. Megan Fox, I can understand to some extent, but we know that her whole shtick came from. Transformers was like a big stepping stone for her, and it's like, I want her to play, because for directors they saw a good looking girl and it's like, I want her to play in my film now. Yeah. Pretty much the same thing though. A good example is Tom Holland. He could do way more.
Why is he playing a teenager every single time?
Because, he was in a lot of films when he was younger.
Yeah.
So he's always gonna be known as the young kid.
Even though he's like almost
No.
in his 30s.
Yeah. So when he's in his like 30s or 40s, like if I were to cast him, I would never cast him as like a teenager. I would want to cast him for who he is.
Yeah.
Like at that moment, I would want a character that showcases who he is, not who I want him to be. But I feel like that's what a lot of directors do. They it's like, okay, yo, I got Tom Holland. It was like sick. Let's put him in this like video game character. Boom, he had Uncharted. Which I mean, it wasn't bad, but like,
It was okay.
it was okay.
But he was just playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's just you don't want an actor to become predictable. Like that's bad because if the actor is predictable, then you have an idea of what the movie's gonna, and you don't want your movie to be predictable.
Yeah, but the problem is, people put up this like image on the character on the actors, right? Whenever they see Tom Holland, they're gonna expect him to act like Spider-Man, no matter what role he plays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he played some other roles that were like that had nothing to do with Spider-Man, but the problem is a lot of like even directors, people are affected by how other people perceive things.
Right.
So when you know that 90% of the population perceives Tom Holland as Spider-Man, you as a director is gonna see him and think this guy can play a teenager who's a little insecure but secretly is a hero.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know. So I think that's why everyone's so typecasted like that.
Mm-hmm. Actually, one person who isn't typecasted though,
Who?
which is one of my favorite actors. Guess. Actually, I wanna.
Who isn't typecasted?
Actually, I don't consider him typecast. You might think he's typecasted, but I don't think so.
Ooh, I don't know the name, but do you know the main guy who plays in Severance?
No.
I think he is not typecasted because I saw him play a jerk, but I also saw him play like a good guy.
Bit more well known.
Bit more well known.
You actually said one of his movies earlier.
Wait, what? What? Terminator? No, not Terminator. Avatar? What? The Mask? Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
How is he not typecasted?
Because for all of his stuff, actually he's a part of the writing or directing process within a lot of those too. He chooses to act as himself. So I don't consider him typecasted. I think that's what makes him good.
I really love Truman.
He's just a funny guy. But he's not just that.
Yeah.
That's why, like, the reason why I love his stuff and the reason why I wanted to try comedy is because if there's a funny person and you laugh with them or at them and then they cry, that one either makes you feel guilty for crying if you laughed at them, or cry because you laughed with them and experienced joy with them.
Yeah.
All of those are real attributes of a real person, especially if he's in the writing process and the directing process. You know that's coming from a real story. That's why I think he's one of the highest. And you've seen like newspapers of him is like he's actually like hella depressed. I was like, well, shit.
Like, that's
right?
crazy, you know.
And it's like, you know that he's not like BSing us when he's like in those movies, like because it's barely acting. It's just
being himself.
Yeah, and that's what I believe that good acting is. I mean, yes, everybody might have their own definitions. Like, no, acting is being what you're not. It's like, I mean, I guess, but no, if you could express the ability to express emotion to an audience and make them feel something, that's what acting is.
Did you know that some Japanese voice actors? I don't think you know this person, but there's a show called Crayon Shinchan. It's like about like a 5-year-old boy and his family. Basically, the voice actor went insane because she couldn't tell if she was the character or if she was herself, so she had to quit.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy?
Did she go through any what's it called, method acting?
I don't know, but her story is basically she joined for in an impersonation, like voice impersonation contest, and she won. And then some producer was like, "That voice is what I'm looking for," and then hired her. And she was super famous in Japan. She's like, I don't know, like, what's a famous character? She was like Superman, but not like it just that's
no, but on the same status.
the same stats in Japan. So she did that for like my entire life. So and more. I think she went on for what? 20 years? Not really, like 30
Damn.
years. Very, very long time.
On the same character or?
On the same character. And there's like a weekly episode, so she did a lot. And she went insane, literally, because she couldn't tell if she was a 5-year-old kid or her 60-year-old self. So she had to quit. And that was a loser replacing. I'm not kidding. I just really don't like the voice actor because I don't like her voice at all. But that might be because the other voice actor was just so good. And then you saying like, oh, characters are good when they're authentic, right? Maybe it's because she genuinely started believing that she's a 5-year-old kid that made her so good.
Yeah, well, it's like I saw an interview with Tom Holland about I think it was a interview like about one of the Spider-Man movies that it was like a question on how like separating him and his character. Oh no, sorry, it was Grant Gustin and the Flash for the series one. And it's
completely different people, bro.
Cause they're both heroes. Because in season 1, yeah, he was acting because he's acting as something that it's a fragment of himself.
Yeah.
But as a series goes on for like season 4, season 5, you end up starting to meld the two. So I mean I'm assuming for 20 years of work, the same process would happen.
But like she was special because her show. Okay, how animes have movies every year. So that show was special because I forgot exactly why, but basically the writer was. So whenever you write a movie for a show that's constantly running, you have to bring the characters back to the status quo, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't really have to do that. They could have just or you had to be like, oh, you have to put this kind of joke in there. You have to put this kind of like storyline in there. Don't change the characters like that. Apparently they had a different type of contract where they could just writers could do whatever they wanted. So they wrote beautiful, amazing movies that made me cry so many times. It was so freaking good. And all the same voice actors, by the way. So then all those voice actors became legends, but all those voice actors became insane or died. So I don't know why, but like I guess
all those were Japanese?
You should watch those movies. But they're so good. There's one movie about adults, like they just 2 adults who basically like brings all the adults in the world in Japan and reverts them back to childhood because they don't want to grow up anymore. They don't want to go into the 21st century. Like 1999 to 2000. So it was released that year, and it was about how adults didn't want to become adults, so they like manipulated their mind, created a fantasy land where it was like their childhood, so I think like 1980 or something. Yeah. And it was like childhood land, so it was all how adults look at movies, you're like, oh, nostalgic, and they miss those days. Yeah. So that's the extreme. And then all the kids lose their parents because now all their parents are in fantasy land. So the 2 main characters, the 5-year-old kid and his little sister, and then like a group of his gang of his friends who are like in the show, go and rescue his parents. And his parents like these emotional scenes of him like missing their childhood, and it made me cry so freaking hard. And there's one scene where like the dad just remembers his past from like birth, like from his childhood to his marriage, and it shows how tough his life is. But despite it being super tough, he still has a reward of being with his family and how much it's worth it. And then he cries. And I'm like tearing up thinking about it. But that was such a good scene. So I'm just like I'm just thinking like, I guess when people have creative freedom, you can do whatever you want. And it's usually amazing.
Well, I guess I know that you're writing a story.
Yeah.
How much of that story would you say fragments from your own life?
To be honest, it's how like Junji Ito, he's not a depressed person, but his stories are really disturbing. Yeah. I'm like that. I'm not depressed at all. I'm a happy person, guys. I'm a happy person.
Would you say that is like an outlet? Because I have the feeling that might be the case for Junji.
Maybe, but all the stories I write, like when I write it, I tear up. Can't wear makeup when I write a story.
who's the director and animator for Ghibli?
Yeah, I was gonna say Hayao Miyazaki. Now
Like-
he's depressed.
I'm wondering if it's the same case for him. For like, he's always creating worlds that are in some
Fantastical.
case, yeah, fantastical as well as better than what, like, I mean, especially, I mean, in like Japan too.
Mhm.
And I can only imagine, like, he's always creating stuff that he would want to be in, and so that would explain why he's so like down to earth and low.
Like he was going outside, I was like, I wonder when I'm gonna get to my grave. I'm like, bro, that's so sad. Why would you say that?
Whereas for Junji Ito, he's always making worlds that you would never want to be in, so I guess that makes him a bit more grateful.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
interesting. I'm a very grateful person.
Yeah.
Like, I remember telling people, like, when they're sad, like, my friend was just upset about something, I'm like, just look into positive, bro. Like, I'm
Yeah.
that type of person. I don't tell it to everybody, because I'm not gonna be like, no, your life doesn't suck, because they usually don't believe me. But that's so interesting. So you're telling me that people who are depressed write a world they want to be in, and people who are happy with the world write about worlds they don't want to be in.
Yeah. Actually, I talked to you earlier about 75 Hard. In the book that I'm reading, it's it's
The
you know the one that I'm talking about. It's
the effort or something.
yeah. Like subtle ways how to not like give a fuck.
Yeah.
And one of the pages in the book that I was reading, it said something like, ironically, positive like reinforcement tends to just create negative, because you're constantly like inputting, like, you know, I should be better, I should be doing this and this and this, and it only
Makes you think you're not good enough.
yeah, it shows you what you are not doing.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if say someone were to talk you down, you know the truth.
You're like,
And
no,
that
I'm great.
actually uplifts you, which is a very messed up and twisted way of thinking about like positive and negative reinforcement. But it's like, that's kind of right.
You know what that reminds me of? So I noticed, you know, when people say, oh, you know, when you have ambitious dreams, people are not going to believe in you. I was the opposite. Everyone believed in me, so that was great. But someone was like, can I be honest with you, Sophia? I don't think you're going to make it. And then it gave me like the fattest grin on my face.
Prove them wrong.
I was like, I can prove someone wrong, bro. I had no one to
Exactly.
prove wrong until
Exactly.
now.
No, there was like, cause no hate to anybody in my class, but when I told them that I'd be doing 75 shots within 12 hours, nobody believed me. It was like, no, you're not gonna be able to do it. Okay, watch me. And
It
so
means
you know,
camera, guys, not vodka. Don't worry. I thought of alcohol immediately, and I was like, no. You're talking about the camera.
oh no, Take a Shot was the title for my web short film.
Yeah.
It's you need to film a 5-minute short film within 12 hours in one day. So I
That's great.
decided to do 75 shots. I told them about it. Nobody believed in me. So over the winter break, I grabbed a couple of friends. I didn't ask them to act. I just asked them to stand in places, and I just framed it up and got 75. And it's like, I showed people my storyboard. It's like, yeah, but you're not gonna be able to do that on the day of. It's like, watch me. And so I did. I got my actors. I rehearsed with them like crazy, and I made it to the point where they felt confident. They know who their character was. And yes, maybe it was a bit ambitious. I didn't. Maybe I sacrificed some of their acting abilities. Maybe I could have gone over another take with them. Maybe, you know, perfected a shot. But that doesn't matter, because the things that my teachers would say was that, oh, everybody else in the class needs more coverage, and then who didn't need any more coverage?
You
Because
did.
I had stuff, maybe even if I wasn't even going to use them, I had them. I had the ability to use them.
Yeah.
And, you know, like we said at the beginning of this podcast, you'd rather have more than less.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, maybe it wasn't the best quality, but now I know my limits. It's like I encourage people to go past. I mean, if you're working out, if you're simply just eating, know your limits.
Okay,
if you're
food,
drinking,
food, I'd rather have a little less. Cause
yeah, okay, yeah. I'm not saying like but you should test yourself.
Yeah.
Not saying like constantly. Like obviously for like my next one, I'm not gonna go do 75 shots. But now I know what's needed, and it's okay to have more. But it's a matter of priority.
I love not testing myself. I love stepping out of my comfort zone. So every time I've rewired my brain, this is with people in real life. So if I see someone that's like, I even have the mind, like the thought that crosses my mind goes, I want to talk to that person, but I'm nervous about it. No, it's a thought that I don't want to talk to that person. Like, oh, I don't have to talk to her. I literally go up to them like, hi, I'm Sophia, nice to meet you, just so I can like break out of that shell, And then I did that so often, I don't have social anxiety anymore. But I had to do that like 500 times at conventions for every single week for like 2-3 months at one point. And I think that like changed how my brain works or something. Because I used to be like,
Yeah, no, I was the same way. No, you've definitely had way more, I guess, exposure than me when it comes to actually like getting out there and talking. Like ever since I entered like school, I was always like I actually did used to be the loudest one, but I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just some stuff that happened in school that held me out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh yeah, no.
When you're a kid, you're like freely yourself, and then you grow up, and then you interact with people, you get experiences, and you learn and change the way you act. And then I feel like during your teenage years, you kind of trying to mold yourself in a way you think other people want you to be. And then you grow up to be an adult, and then you realize you want to retrieve that authentic self back a little bit. I see that in a lot of people.
I think the main thing is that we always want what we don't have, and a lot of people aren't present. Like, I think for a lot of people, including I'm sure you had this idea, like, I can't wait when I'm older. It's like, I can't wait to have a car, I can't wait to have a job. Now it's like, get me out of this job. But no, it's like we're never present. And like for my films, I want to make sure that people are present within the film as well. But back for like growing up, I was very loud, and I drew a lot of attention to myself. I thought I would be changing in high school. So, I thought, okay, I'm loud, but people aren't noticing me. Go even louder. So I started wearing this orange-ass t-shirt that said weird on it and its definition.
You told me that.
Yeah. And I was the prime hub for bullying. I was the short, chubby kid at school that wore vibrant colors. I had a neon blue jacket, a neon orange t-shirt, navy blue sweatpants, and red shoes with a bowl cut.
Hey, you changed now.
Yeah, let's go. And
I thought we were gonna dab each other.
Oh,
what do you do?
There you go. And so I was very loud, and being bullied did not stop that. That just enhanced it. I think it was only in grade 10 where I tried flipping the script and tried shutting up.
But you didn't feel authentic in that, did you?
No, I didn't. But I realized that people liked me better if I didn't say anything.
Did that really?
Yeah, and I became a shut-in.
Wow.
I didn't go out of my house for a while. I got really good at video games, which is a good up, but that's not really helpful when it comes to social aspects.
Yeah.
And then I tried going back to doing films, and that's what brought me out again. I started saying hey to the camera again. that was very difficult. I couldn't say it. I thought it would be easier than talking. It was not. Talking to a camera sucks, because instead of just one person looking at you, you're thinking about everybody that's going to be looking at you, and it's terrifying. But that broke me out. I got a couple of friends who supported me and just wanted to be in my films too. We started getting some attention. Boom. And that just encouraged me. It's encouragement when people support you. And it's not even for the sake of yourself. It's just of what you can do. And that strengthened me a whole lot. It's like, oh, people aren't here. They aren't here for me. They're just impressed. They want to see more. And it's like, let's give it to them. Why not? And that feeling has like, it manifested itself into like into how I conducted myself. And so, throughout the later parts of high school, I started going into directing, because like, people want more. I'm gonna give them more. I'm gonna get good at this. So I started directing theater. I made two plays. One originally directed, and it was a musical.
That's so cool.
Which was very nice. It was very taxing, like stressfully taxing, because my drama teacher, she got hospitalized, and we had like 3 substitutes that were not communicating with each other. So it was just me. It was just me manning the entire theater company, and it was like, but that was I wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, okay, wait. I wouldn't. I'd love if she didn't get to the hospital.
But it means like you had full.
But I had full control.
Yeah.
And the entire stress of it, which I didn't complain about.
I want that though. That's weird of me too.
He was like, "Oh, that seems so stressful." It's like, yes, it was, but I like it.
Yeah, like I like that I get to do whatever I want, basically.
And if there's a mistake, it hits me in the face.
Yeah. And
I take it. You don't have a chance to stop, which is, it's perfect. I had to sell the tickets with them. I was the only straight guy in theater company. I was called, gay slurs. It was like, it's not even the fact that I'm being called. It's just, it was never like, if someone ever,
it's just derogatory.
It's not even that. It's like, I never had a problem with being insulted. It's the fact if it's something that isn't true.
Yeah.
If someone, like, I always had a problem with that. Like, if it's criticism, fine, go for it. Say that my stuff is trash. That's your opinion. That's great. I'll try to make it better. Stuff like that where it's just not true. But, they'll still, like, conceive that in their head. It's the ability to not change anything, that sense of vulnerability that makes it hit. And so, I guess the only thing that you can do is just continue on. I mean, realistically, it shouldn't affect you, because what is it doing? Like, something that isn't true shouldn't affect you.
Yeah.
Criticism should affect you. That's good, but after theater, I was still very, I don't know, sheltered. Like, I wasn't a shut-in anymore, but I couldn't speak as well as I used to, and I still can't, I don't think. But I decided
you can talk totally fine right now.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm a bit used to going on camera. I mean, you met me before this. I mean, I try to make a good first impression. If you like talk to any of my friends or my family, they're gonna say that I don't speak. I'm very silent. It's actually very, like, it's more of the, I try to show for the audience. I don't think it's fake at all. I am being myself.
Same.
But it's like a healing process in a way, But again, expressing yourself like that can be taxing as well. So I guess when I'm at home or if I'm comfortable, I tend to still be quiet.
Yeah.
But when I entered film school, that was a turning point. That was a real good turning point, because I'm going into a place that doesn't know me at all. I I have a clean slate, and that's a very good thing for someone who was recently a shut in and was bullied. And so, first day, I'm grabbing everybody's contacts. I'm that crazy, like, I'm that crazy side kid. And we had like a school like get together. There were like people from several different schools, actors that want to get into projects.
Yeah.
There was this group up that with like 200 more people, and like my class just saw me running around the entire building for like 3 hours straight. It's like, hey, my name's Josh. I'm a filmmaker. Do you want to be in a film? Yes? No? Okay, cool. And I just did that just constantly. I was by the drinks. I was by the food. I was by the music. I was able to get 20 plus actors.
Wow.
Just on my register for that one. I was like, I like doing this.
Mm-hmm.
My voice was broken at the end, but I felt like I would rather do that at a party than, I mean, I had a few drinks, but like that's what I want to do. I want to communicate, and that's what I did. No matter how scary it was, I never did that before. I barely went to parties that were like loud or crowded, so that was very new. But it's like I love the ideas of just, if I'm something that can help other people out as well. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to be seen? Okay, let me help you with that. Mm-hmm. I love doing that.
Yeah. That's also kind of why I started my podcast. At first I didn't expect to like go to comic convention, just ask people like, hey, you wanna... Actually, I don't even do that. I like get to know them, and if I like them, I ask them to get on my podcast. So first I just come up to get to know them.
Right.
And then you can kind of tell, if they're... The funny thing is people who aren't even like... I'm not gonna say who, but some people are not even like, all that, bro. But they go like, email me. No. I'm not gonna email you,
Those who carry themselves with I guess
ego.
Yeah, with an ego or a. I don't like. I mean.
I don't think they're bad people. Like.
In some cases, you need to work with people like that.
Yeah.
But ideally, you wouldn't need to. But I mean, it's an experience nonetheless, right?
Yeah, but I tend to just go like. If you don't want to talk to me, I don't want to talk to you either. Mm-hmm. So, because what am I going to make? An awkward podcast episode where they don't answer most of my questions?
Yeah.
That's going to suck bad.
Yeah. You don't want to be like especially if they're just going like, I don't know if you've ever had any of these guys, but like if they just give like one dead end answers. How are you doing today? Oh, it's okay.
It's okay. It's like a meme like that. No, it's usually this. They go like, oh, good. Or if I go like, oh, how do you start writing? Like, I just started. You can just tell they don't want to talk to you. And I just go, oh, it's okay. Have a good day. Bye. And then I go to the next person and I go, how's it going? Mm-hmm. And then surprisingly, some of the people who I was nervous about talking to, there's a guy who met Quentin Tarantino, and oh my god, now that I said that, they're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. Whatever, because it's a good thing. I'm talking about a good thing. Anyway, the guy who met Quentin Tarantino and like got his story into a movie, a show, TV show.
Yeah. Sorry. I heard Quentin Tarantino and then feet. I know you said feature film, but
bro, I meant movie. Anyways, it wasn't a movie. It was a TV show. But I was nervous talking to that guy because I was like, that's so cool, and I want to be able to do that. So I was thinking he's going to be a little cocky, honestly. But when I spoke to him, he was super chill, chillest, best guy. And I was like, you know what? This is why people gave you the show, because people actually like you. That's what I thought. So if people like you, you'll get more opportunities. So don't be a dick, guys. Yeah. That's the lesson.
Yeah, you gotta be likable, but at the same time, you don't take any like.
Don't be a people pleaser.
Yeah, but you need to feel respected. That's a given. You need to feel respected in your work. Like I remember like my brother wanted to do something that was like very like I was not okay with making this, and so it was like, but he's like, bro, I'll pay you to do this. I was like, no, that's not how it works, bro. Like if it doesn't align with my interest, then I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm not. You're not gonna get commissions like that. I was like,
yes, you will. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
but like you're dissing my work. You can't.
Yeah, it's like, you know, filmmakers make like you know, you make movies you want to make. Like, how are you gonna make a good movie about something you don't care about? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Get someone who wants to make that. There's a niche for everything, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, especially if it's like, I don't know, it's just it's a rude conduct to have, like, shut up and take my money. Like, that's like, yes, you're gonna get paid, but at what cost? Like, especially like for me and your our brand is our face. And you know how Twitter is. I don't go on Twitter for that specific reason.
You know, at first I wasn't even gonna show my face, and I was worried about it. I didn't want to show my face. Even though I'm really good at talking to people, I just wanted to show them my work, and I didn't want to be famous. I wanted my work to be famous. I still think that. But you gotta attach a face, bro, and I guess the first face is gonna be
either that or a symbol or something like that.
Yeah.
But a face is more recognizable.
Like, I'm not like Dream, you know? He was famous for 10 years until he showed his face, and now,
yeah.
You know, I want to be the opposite. I want my face to be recognized, and then people were like, ooh, this person's ambitious, or whatever, you know? I wonder what she makes, and then they go to my work, and then my work becomes famous. It's like the ideal. Is what I'm aiming for.
It's not the... I mean, ideally, it's not the face that gets your audience. It's what you can do.
Yeah, it's what I can do.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Robert Kirkman?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
He made Walking Dead, and he made Invincible.
Yes.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, he got famous, not like famous, but basically his first shot came when he went on he was podcast interviewing some like famous dude.
Oh.
And then he kept calling that famous dude. And he was like some important guy in Image, which is a comic company like Marvel and DC.
Right, yeah. I think I remember it's...
Eric...
Yeah, no.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Like that. People will be so pissed when they hear this. But anyways. And then that's when he got his first shot. And he wrote Invincible. Yeah. Right? And it did amazing. Well, in my opinion. You know, people will think...
Yeah, I know it's doing amazing right now.
It's doing amazing right now, but it took forever. Because he wrote that before Walking Dead. Yeah. And then Walking Dead did good first.
Oh, there was even... Because I was rewatching The Walking Dead while watching Invincible.
Do you see some similarities?
No, not similarities. There is... The comic is in the show. Like, there were these little, like, figurines, too. Like in one of the abandoned houses.
Oh, Invincible?
Yeah, you can like, people like should search it up. Because it's like... I was like, hey, that kind of look... Oh, it is!
Invincible! That's crazy. I did not know that.
At that point, I didn't even know that they were, like, under, like, the same creators.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
so
completely
that was, like,
different stories.
Yeah. So that was, like, a crazy, like, coincidence that I was just, like, watching them around at the same time. And it was like, oh, there's, like, a reference to, like... Because I thought that Invincible was something, like, way newer.
Yeah,
and so when I saw that in, like, one of the first, like, season 2 episodes, like...
Yeah, because that's been the makings for, like, before we were even born.
Yeah.
It's old. But, you know, I really like Robert Kirkman because he is really adamant on doing everything in his vision. So, like, when he got his Walking Dead film, like, become a TV show, right? Yeah. He said no to a bunch of producers because they kept wanting to change aspects of it. And but that's their job. Like, they're trying to make it, you know, presentable to the audience. Yeah. But he was like, no, I want it to be in my vision. Yeah, he had a very, like, strong grip of what he wanted, which is good. So, like, if you actually read the comic and you watch the show, there's some scenes that are, like, literally frame to frame. Looks exactly the same. Like, every shot. Like, there's, like, a scene with, like, some guys on a horse walking on a road. It's the exact same in the comic. And I was like, I don't respect him from, like, lying to people and stuff. And like, sometimes he would pretend. Like, for example, when I I think when he was working for Image or something, they first wanted him to work on a different story. They didn't want him to work on the first story, and then that first story, he was like, "Oh, we'll work on it together and illustrate to the illustrator he wanted to work with." So he lied to the illustrator and said, "Oh, they think they're interested in it, but they want to do this first." So he made the illustrator work on that thing with a promise that he'll get that initial work, published. But it never happened because he just lied to him. So that was really hard to explain, but I hope that you understood that.
No, I got it.
Yeah, so
it clicked as like, oh right, Image was the one that because I like for the past few minutes I was like, wait, there's Marvel, DC, and then
Image. But it's not as famous. But
yeah,
Image, and then now I think he's like one of the executives or something. Yeah. But he said it in a podcast actually, that he thinks it's very important for artists to be able to express their work in their vision and not have other people inhibit it, right? So I'm like, yes! But I don't like that you lie to your workers, but yes!
You gotta do what you gotta do to get what you want.
I'm not that hard. I still prioritize my family first.
No, yes, definitely. Right. But, I mean, he's definitely very ambitious. Super ambitious. To some point you need to admire. To some point. If people get harmed, though.
But he doesn't harm people like career detrimental or anything. It's more like
for more of an ethical standpoint.
It's not really an ethical standpoint, but it's like to his advantage. Like he won't try to make you lose your job. Yeah. But he might lie to you so that you're more willing to do something for him. But it's not really gonna. Right. I mean, I guess he's wasting your time because he's lying to you. Yeah. But he's very it's a little bit.
He's a bit just swervy around what he wants.
Yeah. So I think his old friend who actually started writing comics with sued him later on because he was also lying to him about deadlines and stuff. Like, for example, if he wanted, let's say that he feels that if you wrote 5 issues instead of 3 for this specific deadline, there's a higher chance that you'll be able to publish it. So he'll lie to you and say, even though you only need to write 3, he'll say you need to write 5. So you work extra hard without knowing that you don't actually need to write 5. And then he'll give 5 and it'll get published. So it's great for both of you, but he basically lied because you did not need to make as much as you did. Right. Something along those lines. So I don't think it's... I wouldn't do that though. I can't lie for the life of me.
I don't think I would either, but at the... Not to justify his actions, but I know that people do different things based off of experience. So I'm sure that I mean, why wouldn't you be direct at the first start? There should be a reason on why he chose to be swervy about his actions. I mean, like me for before, I got quiet because I noticed that people liked me better when I was not talking. Yeah. So that changed my action, and that made me a bit, untrustworthy, or
not untrustworthy, but
more anxious about people,
others' opinions, because you didn't do it as much.
Yeah, and that altered my actions. Way different than how I would have done. I'm sure that before he would have gone with a more direct approach, but after being rejected, you just start going into this little swervy pattern. Yeah. So yes, it's bad. I don't fully blame him.
I can't lie though. I respect him more than I hate him. I don't hate him. I'd say I wouldn't trust him, but
you can still be skeptical about someone.
I'd find him skeptical, but I feel like I would work with him if he ever asked. Which I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm just saying that I would think is amazing, right? But it's different. For example, I would never talk to a murderer if they're famous. It's not about the fame. It's about that he'll get it done.
Again, it's about what they do. Yeah. There are a lot of just not one that comes to mind, but I know that there are a lot of very strict and harsh directors. Again, you just gotta admit that they could produce a lot of good stuff. Yeah. I don't agree fully with their actions, but you just gotta see for what it is.
I respect James Cameron. So far, he's my number 1. I think because everything he makes is revolutionary. He would literally make new technology for his movies if he had to. So it was so, like Avatar: The Way of the Water.
Yeah.
He apparently it took him like several years to make water look good, and that's why that film took forever.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So he created new technology to make water look good. That's insane. So I respect him so much, and he's so adamant for his vision. But also sometimes his actors choke him and punch him after a scene because it was literal torture for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes he lies to them too. He's like, "Oh, it's only 1 minute, right?" And it's actually 1.5 minutes.
Well, that's just the director's speech. I mean, like 1 minute is more like 30.
Yeah, it's a quick shot.
Yeah.
3 hours later.
Yeah. I mean, as a director, I feel like it's a must to. I mean, there are these gaps of what's it called? Oh no, leeway. You could have leeway for this, but it should be a must to keep your composure.
Yeah.
Like, because if you have authority, that needs to be a given.
I've acted before.
Oh,
or
yeah.
like short film, very unprofessional short films, but I thought that the result was pretty great, to be honest. It was like Smosh level,
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like as an actress, you just stand there for like half an hour doing nothing for most of the time, and then you act a little bit, and then you just...
Oh, it's worse for extras. I felt so bad for, like, because it had to be, like, my web short film had to be, like, within a party. And,
oh my god.
Oh, I felt so bad.
How many extras do you have?
Well, I scattered them to make it seem like there were more than usual, but I think we only had 5 to 8. So only that one, and then plus I know I had the largest crew from my class, so we had all the extras, the 2 main actors, and then we had 4 crew, so that was about 13, 14 people. For the assignment, it was supposed to be 5, or no, sorry. So for the assignment, it should have been 5 crew members, and 3 actors, and that's it.
But you did like 8.
Yeah. That was supposed to be like a hard
I think you'll be a good director, bro. Cause every time you say something, you're like going overboard with all of them.
That's my flaw as well, though.
It's not a flaw.
It is because there's actually something that my teacher. I mean, this is why I'm in film school, because I want to get better. Because I mean, my teachers say that I can show emotion very well, and it's very loud, it's very bold, it's very expression. That's not expressive. But if it's constantly like that, then nothing's expressive.
Oh my god, you're so right.
So it's constantly at like a 10.
Yeah.
But it's so loud that it mutes itself out, which is that's a very nice line. That's a
it's so loud it mutes itself out.
So I need to learn how to chill out, pretty much.
Yeah.
So then it becomes more of a roller coaster. So then, impact actually happens, so that it's soft and it's pleasant to the ears. It's soft on the eyes, and then boom, it just I know I want my films to almost like make it seem like a punch. Is that it hits you, it either like catches you off guard or it just makes you feel something. And I completely understand. It's like yes, if it's so absurd at the if absurd is the minimal, you either need to go way more or learn how to chill. So that's very difficult because I know if I was very loud and very quiet, and it's hard to find a balance between that.
I feel like people like us it's hard for us to be in the like we either go extreme. Like I feel like I'm such an all or nothing type of person.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be grounded. Whenever I have an opinion, it goes like this. I get the opinion, and I'm at the extreme of the opinion, and it's cringy, and everyone around me tells me that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like slowly mellows down, and to my actual opinion, if that makes any sense, you know, like okay, with makeup, because I'm wearing makeup right now. I used to be like, makeup is for like losers and insecure girls only, guys. And then I realized, actually, it's not that bad. And then I had a phase where I was the most caked up person on the planet. Like literally, like if I smiled, my crease lines would appear. I looked old. Now I think it's mellowed down because I think it looks good now. I look back at those photos, I'm like, damn, like how did I walk out looking like that with full on confidence?
Like we said before, it's finding your limits. It's overachieving. And then...
Yeah. So, but thankfully, I like that I can get to the middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people who just never get there, and they're just one or the other.
Yeah. Something I didn't mention is that when I was back in high school, when I did try flipping the script, it didn't come naturally. I didn't just switch off like that.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of moments where my crazy self, my loud self would still show up. You know, I'd be like constantly like silent for like all of class as soon as, or like within like a friend group, and then something would like click where it's like, hey Josh, you should like take off your shirt and run around the yard, and I'm like, hell yeah. And it's like,
oh my God.
And then that just made me even weirder because the switch was so off. It's like, oh, we didn't mean it. Like literally, like, oh, you didn't. Okay. And it's like, damn it.
No, I think it's people, like, you know, you do a lot of things and then you get used to it, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't know how to control it. That's normal. You know what made me like the best, I'd say? I'm very gullible, but I use it in a good way. So write a book, right? I take in everything because I'm very gullible, and also I'm a good listener.
Is gullible the right word?
Yeah, gullible is the right word.
As in like you'll believe anything that.
Yeah, not anything. I believe a lot of like easily. I think someone, this is just, they weren't bullying me, but they were like kind of like
Tease?
using that to tease me, and I did not appreciate it because I felt insecure about being so gullible.
Yeah.
Right. Not
gullible. Is it gullible or naive?
Naive. I'm more naive. But I was reading a book and it was like, oh, you know, insecurity is really, really, really ugly. And if you're confident, it doesn't matter how you look. You're always going to be an attractive person.
Yeah.
Like, people want to be around you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that. Right? I agree with that. Okay, I'm not that... I say I'm naive. I take in information very easily. So I just believe that. And then it made my life so much better. But I put it to the extreme because I was being a little bit cocky for like a couple months. Yeah, I was like, guys, I'm amazing. I'm a god. No, and they're like...
I was called an asshole back in high school. And to an extent, I was kind of... I mean, I was like the kid that like wore headphones. I was skateboarded. Like, I was the full like epitome of don't talk to me. I'm on my own way. And if they were, I was like... I mean, I thought that people didn't like me speaking, so if they were to try to talk to me, I was like, it's whatever.
I was like that too.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like insecure. I think I was just insecure. I still talk to my friends, but I would always be jealous of the popular kid. I'd be like, I wish I could talk. And then I just woke up one day, I was like, why shouldn't I? I should just talk. And then I started talking, but I talked too much, and I got insecure about that. And I was like, no, I need to be mysterious. I'm like, nah, I think I'd rather just please myself, because I can't control how other people perceive me.
No, I don't think people always make it seem like you need to be mysterious. I mean, you want to know why mysterious works?
Why?
For a lot of people, they like to see people as canvases.
Yeah.
And so if you shut up, and if you're mysterious, or if you don't express yourself too much, this happens a lot for crushes. They end up painting themselves in their fantasy.
That's so real. I read that in the book.
In
the book it says there's like a type of attractive personalities, and one is called a star. And the reason the star is so attractive is because they're around you so often, but you know nothing about them. So you can paint whatever image you can into them. Like, okay, you don't know anything about Zendaya, you don't know anything about Tom Holland, you only know the characters they act. So you just place your ideal version of yourself into them, and because you see them around you so much, right?
Or even better, Megan Fox, because like the amount of time that she actually speaks rather than just looks like a model. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like because the mysterious one I typically find within more of the like the male characters, but like a good equivalent are like the silent beauty-esque tropes like that. Those are very like two sides of the same coin sort of thing.
So you know which one I think there's like, it's called if anyone's wondering, it's called the Book of Art of Seduction or something.
Oh yeah.
But it's basically teaches you how to people can like you. Basically, it's like a psychology book. That's how I see it. I didn't read the whole thing. I kind of read like half of it because it's 22 hours long. So I think I'm the natural. It's when people are kind of naive and a little impulsive, and they talk, and they're a little immature.
Yeah.
And the whole point is that they're like that naturally. Like they act in a way that you feel like that's their authentic self. And I think I'm like that because I talk to myself and I'm like, why do I sound like a 5-year-old? You know? And also I think I'm bad at lying, which I don't know, didn't say in the book that's a trait, but I feel like that's just my trait.
Is it that you're bad at lying, or you just don't have the heart to lie?
I don't have the heart to lie. And when I lie, you can tell it's like you can see my heart literally sinks into my stomach. So like sometimes I rewatch something, I'm like, oh, that was not really true. I'd cut it out.
What would you say I would be?
From my experience of meeting you twice.
Just off of impression.
I'm just thinking, there's like this siren that you're not because you're not a woman. I think you might be like, to an extent, I think you might be a charismatic.
A charismatic? What are the traits of that one?
Charismatic is someone who's knows exactly what they're doing. Like they have a goal. Like you talk to them and you feel that they know what they're doing. So kind of a leader. And then they're also, okay, this part, I think you're confident. I would never know you're insecure unless you told me. So I think but the biggest important part is that you have to be very confident for this. And then the third trait is like, you're confident and you know what you're doing. Oh yeah, also you're very articulate. You have to be very articulate. So I think you're that. So I think you're the charismatic.
Articulate as in just like you
can express yourself very well.
I see.
You stand strong, you know. You have a mix of a dandy maybe, but dandy means like, okay, in simple terms it means you're kind of like the opposite sex, but that's not your case. The other version means that you're unconventional in a way. So you know how you do like the 75 hard and stuff?
Yeah.
Barely anybody does that, right? That's why it's called a 75 hard. Or you're like, you do 75 shots instead of everybody else. So that's out of the norm. And then you tell it someone, they're like, oh my god, you know, he's not like anyone else, you know? So that's, so I think you're a bit of a mix of a dandy and a bit of a mix of a charismatic. And for me, I tell myself I'm a natural, naturally, but I think I've embodied every single one I possibly can from the book. Like, I'm a charmer. Charmer is like, I uplift you, you know? I charm you or whatever. I do that at conventions. Not like, here, charm you, but like, it just happens. Because I read books like how to make people like you, you know, how to make friends with people and make people happy around you. So that's a bit of like a charmer tactic. And I'm charismatic because I know what I'm doing, I think. And then try to be confident. And then the siren's like, oh, be as beautiful as you can. I'm like, okay, let me looks max right now. So that's That's me, I'd say. But I typically call myself a natural.
Mm-hmm. That's like your overarching.
My overarching, like 90%. No, I think like now. I think it used to be like 90% natural, because I would just say anything off the top of my head. That was my way to be able to talk to anyone. Right. Like, if I say something, the conversation will keep going. And I forgot, oh, the other person wants to talk as well, not just me, you know? So that, definitely not a star, because I'm a yapper. Like, no one can paint a canvas on me, because I'm going to talk about myself all the time. At least that's what I think. So... What do you think you are?
I don't know the, but
well,
I mean,
what do you think is your like attractive traits?
I mean, I've never sort of looked at myself that way, but what I've heard, I guess, is that it's that ambition. That's what's most I guess attractive about me. The fact that I'm like confident that I'm going to get it done, and that I do get it done, that's I guess more impressive than attractive, though, I would say.
But yeah, that's basically the two traits I was talking about. But you know, I'm very like, what I mean by gullible is like, I read this stuff in a book and I'm like, oh, that's real. But I do take a moment, it's like therapy, where I just write it out and then I look back at it and I'm like, this actually makes absolutely no sense, and then I like reformat my mind. You know, this is not about film anymore, guys. But yeah, so that's I'd say how I've kind of constructed my personality. I feel like no one's authentic. Like, there's a ideal version of yourself, and then the closer you are to that, the more authentic you are, as I try myself.
Well, that actually brings up a good topic. It's the whole reason why I want to go like in film. I mean, you pretty much stated like my inspiration, which was you know, just growing up off of YouTube with like Ryan Higa and kind of a teeny bit more so Ryan Higa, but teeny bit of Smosh. But like, what built us up was influence, and like we don't realize how much that matters within our lives, because you know, monkey see, monkey do. It's as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
You know, if someone just watches horror movies, you know exactly how like they might act. Or no, it's either they're really like scared or they're really
unfazed,
deadpan, and
because they're
unfazed.
so used to it.
And that's just what they like. They might be a bit more dark, because they're just, that's just what they're into. And like for us, like our humor is very specific, like especially for our generation. I can like fully vouch that. Or I mean, maybe that's for, I'd say that's more for like the younger generation.
Oh my god.
But for our generation, like, just smack a kid into like a refrigerator and
it's, you know what, random stuff, you know, stuff that's so true though. Random screams make me laugh so much. There's a video of me just going ah, and I was like laughing so hard. You just laughed at that because like that's
whereas if like a generation above were to see us laughing at that, there's like, what is wrong with you?
They like,
but it's because of our influence. The comedians when we were growing up, they're always doing that for like to make us laugh. And that was our source of like entertainment. And what I realized is that even though that was my childhood, do I want like the next generation to have that same like to have that like nonsensical humor? No, I want, like, Disney had it like gold, because they had intention, meaning, and like metaphor just scattered throughout their films. Like my favorite one was like Hercules, because like it's so simple and it's so raw, but it's very human, and it was emotional and it had a lot of meaning to it. The reason why I liked Ryan Higa before was because yes, he was funny, but he always had a meaning within every one of his videos.
Yes, he did.
So that's why I
liked him a little more than Smosh. A little more.
Yeah, no, way more.
No, yeah.
Way more.
Yeah.
Not a little more.
Yeah.
And that's, he like, for Ryan Higa, he sort of built my style of like of writing for film in a way, because I don't start with an idea. I don't start with a character. I start with meaning and try to build a story off of that.
That's great.
Because I like a story to me is meaningless if it doesn't have. It's meaningless if it doesn't have any meaning.
You know, it's funny because I don't actually put meaning in my stories. Try intend to at least.
There's.
I think it forms though.
It forms. Like
I can feel it.
There's a person in my class where she views like creating a story is like treating characters as elements.
Yeah.
How does a fire element character react with water, ice, grass? Yeah. Will it destroy or will it mend? And how like it's just how do different characters mix and where will that lead them? And then add in a different one. And then you find, it's less so about meaning, but meaning in it. Everything in life has meaning.
Yes.
So be it. Like you could make a simple thing about the first thing that comes to mind, a tree. You could relate it to how the top of it looks like a nervous system and how that can relate to us as nervous creatures, but as well as, this is off the top of my head, and that we look at the exterior way more so than the interior, even though the interior is what holds it together.
Yeah, the roots.
Yeah, and the roots are actually 2 times larger than what's above, but we never pay attention to it. If something inhabits the exterior, then it has this system of living with it, and it throughout a year a tree will like change throughout, like a person.
Yeah.
But as soon as something infects its roots, person too, that's gonna make the thing die. Off the top of my head, it's
beautiful.
But like everything in life has like some meaning. You can derive it from anything. Like for me, I used to just like, I told you before that headphones were like always on my head. I muted myself out of the world. Take those off, ideas just rush in. Because everything like can mean something, even if it's not even from a person. But you can relate it to something that you've either went through or things that you've seen.
That was so beautiful, bro.
Trees.
Trees are deep. Okay. Wait, what time is it? Just out of curiosity.
I don't have my. Oh, it's
right here.
No, my. This is. It's wrong. Wrong time, right place.
Okay, it's been an hour and 40 minutes, so we completely went over. So.
Wait, an hour and how many?
40.
Oh,
minutes.
damn.
So, I have one question. Actually, 2 questions. What would be your one advice you'd give to aspiring storytellers watching this right now? Come on, bro. I'm kidding. Take your time.
Just one advice?
Yeah, if you had to give just one advice.
Okay. Don't force anything out. Don't like. It should just come naturally. Like with everything that comes into your life, it's never forced. So don't try to force anything out into the world, and it's not going to be like. If you do that, it's going to be artificial, which I think shouldn't be the case. Whatever you should expel into the world should come from you, and that comes naturally. That's the simplest thing I could give.
Beautiful. I think that too, because I feel like if you don't enjoy making it, what's the point if other people want, I don't know, people who hate their job, it makes them money, but I'm like, what's the point if you don't enjoy it? You're just gonna be miserable when you do it, even if it shows results, I think. So
yeah, you should always try loving what you do. Even if you should probably hate your job right now, just do it with a smile, and you'll that's actually going to get you farther than just doing the task.
Agreed. And where can people find your work?
Just mainly on YouTube at J Morey. If you want, you could also find me at just Instagram at JOOSHMERCADL.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much, Josh, for sharing your insights. I got so much into the conversation, I forgot how long it was taking.
Does it need to be like under an hour?
No, but I told everyone here that's going to be under an hour. So that was not under an hour. That was almost 2 hours.
Mm.
And to our listeners, now look at the camera. Thank you
Okay.
so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like, subscribe to me and Josh. I'm kidding. And share this episode to any fellow storytelling enthusiast or this entire podcast. And if you have any topics or questions you'd like me to explore, you can drop them in the comments or connect with me on any of my social medias. Until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, and we'll see you on the next episode of Podcast for Fun.